This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for December 30, 2022, 80-year-old transport center manager shot and killed in St. James. 80-year-old Lesmore Williams, manager of the St. Claver's Transport Center in Montego Bay, St. James, was shot and killed by armed men on Thursday afternoon. The Barnett Street Police say about 2:30 p.m., Williams, who also operates a cook shop inside the center, was sitting at his business place when two men posing as customers walked up. The men reportedly ordered food, but before it could be served, one brandished a handgun and opened fire, hitting Williams multiple times. The gunmen then escaped on foot. The police were summoned to the scene and Williams was transported to the Conroe Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Man killed during fight at a Burger King car park. A man was killed and two others injured following an incident at the Burger King car park on Barbican Road, St. Andrew, Thursday morning. The dead man has been identified as Akeem Morgan, 28, a carpenter from Confidence View, St. Andrew. The injured men include a 23-year-old student and a 28-year-old laborer. Reports reaching the news indicate that around 6:50 a.m., Morgan and the two injured men were occupants of a black Toyota Noah using the Burger King drive-thru when an argument developed between them and the men in a green Nissan Tiida. The men in the Nissan Tiida were joined by men in a white BMW. The argument turned into a physical confrontation. Knives and machetes were brought into play, and during the fracas, Morgan and the two men were injured. The injured men were rushed to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where Morgan was pronounced dead. The two others were admitted in serious condition. Dead gunman identified as shooter in 2021 murder. A man who was killed by police in Augustown, St. Andrew on December 17 was positively identified as the triggerman in the killing of another man in the community. LaShawn Warren, otherwise called the Sauti, was on Wednesday pointed out as the man who shot and killed 28-year-old Shamar Wani Akins on Wednesday, October 6, 2021. In that incident, it was reported that about 5:50 p.m., Akins was sitting on a post on Augustown Road when he was approached by several men, including Warren. One of the men brandished a handgun and opened gunfire, hitting Akins all over his body before they escaped into a lane. Police took Akins to the University Hospital of the West Indies, where he was pronounced dead. In May, the St. Andrew Central Police named Warren as a member of the Bedward Gardens gang, listed him as a person of interest, and asked him to turn himself in. On Saturday, December 17, about 11:30 a.m., Warren was shot and killed during a confrontation with the police in Bedward Gardens, Augustown. A policeman was shot and injured, and a Taurus firearm with a 4.9mm rounds of ammunition seized in the incident. On Wednesday, an eyewitness to Akins' murder identified Warren as the man who shot and killed the now deceased. NHD warns of possible scams as it prepares to refund 2015 contributions. As the National Housing Trust, the NHD prepares to begin accepting applications for a refund of contributions made in 2015, it is urging persons to be on the alert for scams. Eligible contributors are being reminded that applications for 2015 contributions refund are being accepted as of January 2023, and that these must be made online. Customers may apply for their refund via the NHD's website www.nhd.gov.jm and via the mobile app NHD Online. In addition, the NHD says it will be extending the cash refund granted to eligible public sector workers for the upcoming year 2023. However, the NHD is reminding persons to be on the lookout for scams from individuals purporting to be its representatives. It says it has observed an increase in fictitious communication, asking individuals to provide payment or bank account information to access some NHD services, in particular contributions refund. It says that these are not affiliated with NHD and are fake. Tips to keep your account and information safe include always use the NHD mobile app or the official NHD website when making an application. Be wary of messages with false urgency seeking to persuade immediate action. Check the URL for website links and email addresses of all communication received before responding or taking action. The NHD will never ask you to provide payment information via links in emails. All payment information is collected through the application portal on the website and the mobile app at the time of the application. If you receive correspondence you think may not be from the NHD, please report it. PNP to challenge legality of government's role in SOEs. The opposition People's National Party says it will be going to court to seek a declaration on the legality of the government's use of back-to-back states of public emergency. Opposition leader Mark Golding says the party has sought and now received legal advice on the two most recent SOEs that were declared on December 6 and December 28. Mr. Golding argued that there is nothing to suggest that these two SOEs were declared as a result of changed circumstances after the SOE in November failed to get the required two-thirds support of the Senate.
These two recent states of emergency in December are therefore clearly an attempt to circumvent the limits that the Constitution intended to place on the Prime Minister's powers. Based on the advice we have received, I believe that it is likely that the court would declare this recent practice to be unconstitutional. I look forward to resuming our Vale Royal discussions, which he abandoned after just a single meeting last February. I really hope he's serious about this, and it isn't just more political posturing. Those discussions cannot be limited to the issue of states of emergency, because the parties have divergent understandings as to what is permissible under the Constitution when it comes to using states of emergency. I therefore suggest that the talks must be on broader national security strategy, where there is potential for useful dialogue leading to consensus.
NSWMA wants increased fines for illegal dumping. The National Solid Waste Management Authority wants fines for illegal dumping to be increased. The enforcement unit of the authority recently received 10 new motorcycles to improve its mobility and tackle the problem of illicit dumping across the island. NSWMA Chairman Dennis Chung says while the teams have been carrying out their mission, the fines issued for people found in breach of the law are not a strong enough deterrent.
Now we're identifying the illegal dumps and things. The enforcement unit is a lot more mobile. The problem we have is that even if they identify, if you were to issue tickets to someone, the average cost of a ticket is 3,000 Jamaican dollars. For over 10 years, we haven't been able to pass the updated legislation on the increased fines. It's no deterrent, but we are identifying them. But, the other thing is, when you issue the ticket, it costs you more to dispose of it legally than it does to dispose of it illegally. So, the challenges continue. The minister has been working very well with us over the years and trying to get it done. He said that he thinks that by the middle of next year, we'll have the improved legislation in place. And, we're just holding our breath for that.
Opposition calls for COVID-19 test requirement for travelers from China. The parliamentary opposition is calling for the government to institute a COVID-19 test requirement for passengers arriving from China amid a global concern that a new variant could emerge. The United States, Japan, India, South Korea, Taiwan, and Italy have already announced the testing requirements for passengers from China. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says a PCR test should be mandated to protect Jamaica from another surge in COVID-19 cases.
Granted, the amount of travel from China is not a lot, but I think in an effort to protect the country, those PCR tests, not the antigen test, the PCR test should be done for passengers arriving from China. That is, they need to show a negative PCR test coming to the country. It is not necessarily because other countries are doing it, but just in an effort to protect our citizens and the economy right now, in light of the fact that we have been seeing a significant reduction in the number of COVID positive cases in the country. So I think the government should really institute that particular measure. I don't think it needs any technocrats to be looking at the situation as the minister has suggested. I think it's something that has to be done right now. It is definitely a requirement. In fact, I don't think we should let up on this particular one. In that when we're going to crowded spaces, we should have on our mask, that we should practice the same hygiene that the then disaster risk management protocol called for, and to just practice the usual measures that would help to prevent us from getting any form of sickness or illness.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.